All right, guys. Gene, Trey, back out here at the range again today. It's been raining a little bit. We hoping it kind of holds off. Trey's dealing with some sugar shakes, so you know.
Excuse those.
Shaking a little bit. But anyway, we got the Rock Island out here today. We've already did the tabletop on it. We're just gonna put it through its paces, shoot it a little bit, try to check it for accuracy, see how this hammer does on the hand here. Just kind of give you an overall, our overall thoughts about, you know, how it performs. We've already told you all about it on the tabletop, so we're just gonna get right to shooting it here. And I mean, just pulling it back, as you can see here, if I grip up high on it, the hammer is down underneath the web of my hand here. So I don't know, I definitely could see that being a problem, but as I told you before, I didn't really care for the polymer grips it came with, which did seem to resolve this problem. But let's see if it really affects anything. I'm gonna try to shoot it from a double action here and just see how it does with that, if it eats my hand or anything. Did I hit anything? I think I'm shooting high. Well, for some reason or another, it's not wanting to lock on me. See if I got them all out there. Yeah, I think there's 2 in there. Let's see. Yeah, for some reason or another, the cylinder stopped spinning on me. Not really sure what that's about. But I was pulling the trigger back, the hammer wouldn't come all the way back. It got stuck about right there. I did hear on some other reviews that people were having some trouble with cylinder timing or the cylinder not locking. I did dry fire this a lot at home and I didn't really seem to be having that issue.
But you had blanks in when you were doing that, right?
Right, I had snap caps in there. So let me try from a single action, because I wasn't hitting the broadside of the barn at 12 yards from a double action. See how we do with that.
Was it grabbing the web of your hand at all?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Eating it up. Yeah. Let me move over here to this 10 yards, see if I can hit that. 'Cause I ain't hitting anything. See how it tried to lock up, the cylinder didn't want to move again. Okay. See, it just won't come back, and now it did. It's like the cylinder's not wanting to rotate. So I would say that I was having to lift the front sight up significantly. You know, if you're trying to put the front sight through the rear notch here, I was shooting very, very low. I raised the front sight up and that seemed to get me on target, which, you know, if you're shooting as you would traditionally shoot, like on a semi-auto polymer or something like that, you would probably come out and say, well, the gun's not accurate. But you know, if you know that about the gun and you make that adjustment and you can get good groupings by making that adjustment, there's no way to adjust the sights on this, so you would just have to make the adjustment. I don't know about the sticking of the cylinder. See how it's catching right there? See how?
It's got like a pause almost.
Well, it's like something's catching, and I'm not sure if it's the cylinder or the hammer that's catching, and maybe it'll loosen up. You know, we're gonna put we're gonna put some more rounds through it. You know, again, this is the first time I've shot it. I wanna love the gun. I mean, it's got, you know, it's got some good things about it. It is eating my hand up, no question about that. And it's eating me up right here too, where my middle finger here is catching the bottom of the trigger guard. I guess it's got this deep, that makes for a good grip though, so I wouldn't really complain too much about that. But let's shoot it a little bit more, see if maybe, I haven't gotten through a single cylinder out of the first two that it didn't seize up on me, and maybe that's something that'll go away with time. I'm not sure, but let's see if I can get the 12-yard target here, get a little better grouping. I'm gonna try it again from a single action, see if that I'm gonna say that this is probably gonna have to be a gut gun. You definitely ain't gonna be shooting for accuracy, I don't think. Cause I'm definitely not pulling like I'm watching the front sight, like I'm not pulling left or right. And it seems like I really have to raise this front sight way up to get on target. And the target I was just shooting at's about this high, so certainly you should be able to hit it without a problem. So I mean, again, I think most people are probably going to carry this gun in like a dash. I don't think it's really suitable for pocket carry with this big old spur, this big old hammer. Most people probably going to use it as a truck gun or something, which if you stick it at your window, I'm sure that'll serve the purpose. You know, again, like a gut, close range kind of deal. A 38 Special has got it's a hot round, so it definitely will go a great distance. But we shot some 38 Specials out here on the channel not too long ago. Bodyguard and there was one other.
The LCP?
The LC.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
The LCR.
LCR,
yeah. And we were doing fairly well decent on hitting the target. And again, this is the first time I've shot the gun. Well, the cylinder didn't lock up that time, so maybe it'll free up. Like I said, I really do want to like the gun. It's 6 rounds of 38 Special, where most are just 5 rounds. That extra round, as I said before, could be significant. It's not a bad looking gun. I really love the wood grips. I just can't seem to hit the broadside of a barn, but the cylinder didn't lock up that time. I'm gonna try to shoot it from a double action this time to see if I can get on the 10-yard target here. Well, I got 2 dead in the center on double action, which is not bad. You know, it really hits the primer nice, so you don't have any issues with light primer strikes or anything. It's hitting it dead center of that round. I mean, you can't get much more dead center than that. So
it's a clean primer strike.
I would say that the complaints that people had about the timing, not spinning right, stuff like that's probably not completely accurate. Not in my case anyway. And that's what, two cylinders without any of the locking up stuff. So maybe there was a burr on there or something, because like I said, it doesn't seem to be doing it now. It did do it in the first 2 cylinders, and I did hit 2 dead center in a double action, so that's not too bad. So maybe it's just me needing to break it in because I haven't shot it. Let's see if we could put a few more down range. I think I brought I think 50 rounds with me, maybe. I figured 50 rounds would do the trick. Let's do a little single action, see if I can get on that target a little better. I tell you, in that single action, that spur coming over the back of that grip like that is it makes it really hard to get a grip up high on it to keep it under. But I do seem to be dialing it in a little bit with the accuracy. See how it caught the web of my hand and the hammer barely hit. But it didn't stick up on me that time. So that's 3 cylinders without sticking up. Timing seems to be great. If you shoot it for a little while, it could be accurate if you got used to it. If you got good with it, it could definitely be accurate. That seems to be a real pain in the neck. But again, I don't think you're going to be out at the range with any revolver really just slinging hundreds of rounds down range like you would with, say, a semi-auto or something. So I would say just for a carry, a truck gun, there have been no malfunctions, no timing issues. It has hit every round. Did have the cylinder or the hammer seem to be catching a little bit on the first 2 cylinders, but I think we put, what is that, 3 now or 4 without any issue?
That'll be 3, yeah.
So I think maybe that might have been a little burr or something on it from the factory. Overall, it seems to be a pretty fun gun. It is wearing out my middle finger there. It's getting a little painful, but let's shoot at the 12-yard target here. Do a little double action. Honestly, the double action seems to be a little more fun because when you pull it back like this, because you pull it back with you know, your shooting thumb, and then when you try to grip up high like this, the web of your hand gets on top of the hammer spur, and when you go to pull the trigger, it catches underneath the web of your hand. So I'd say for me, shooting it from a double action seems to be a little more fun because when it comes back, it rests on top of your hand. You get the high grip. Yeah, I say you could definitely, if you shot with it, you could definitely dial it in. I hit center mass a couple of times from a double action. I would say that I don't have another revolver that I prefer to shoot from a double action. And again, that's all because of this hammer. And that really does seem to be wearing out and I mean, really, man, it comes way over the back there. So you have to hold it down here, which kind of sucks because you don't have as much control over it. But again, I guess you could make adjustments to the gun. I'm kind of stoked about the fact that the whatever is causing them to hang up there seems not to be an issue anymore. I'm certainly happy about that. Like I said, timing and where it's hitting, the cylinder seems to lock up real nice. When you pull back, there's no movement in the cylinder at all, just barely any movement. That doesn't seem to be an issue. Let's see if we can get a little better here. Ooh.
That was nice.
I think I hit the same spot.
You seem to be dialing it in.
Yeah, still hitting a good primer. Again, 6 shots of 38 special. You know, most only have 5. Again, I can't say enough that one round could be significant. And I definitely seem to be dialing it in. These rounds here, I'm shooting PPU, just regular old target, full metal jacket. I do have a couple of, let's see, I do have a couple of Winchester, the lead nose hollow point. So I do have some of those mixed in there, just in case anybody asks, you know, what I'm shooting. I'm sure that maybe the defensive ammo may shoot differently, but I would say that if you was going to carry it, you probably should definitely practice with whatever you're going to be carrying it with. But you know, it's getting more and more fun to shoot as I'm shooting it. That one was at 12, probably about 13 yards. I'm standing a little further back, but it's actually starting to get a little more fun to shoot now that I'm starting to dial it in a little bit and I'm getting used to this and where to hold it at. Definitely for $199, I would say that if you just wanted it for a dash gun or something like that, definitely worth doing that, I believe. I think I hit the same spot in the middle. Got cocky on that one. I'm not counting the rounds. I should be. I got 2 more here. I think we will have put, I think it was 50 rounds. It may have been more than that. Y'all do the counting when you watch the video. Let's shoot these from a double action. Both of those was dead in the center. Dead in the center. At about 13 yards from where I was standing. Still got good strikes on the primers there. Dead in the center. Timing still seems to be good. It's not super hot. As a matter of fact, it's not hot at all. It's not even really warm. So I could say that I like the gun. Again, ammo's kind of scarce. I know that 9mm seems to be the one everybody's buying up the most, but around here it seems 38 special is pretty scarce too. But so we're not going to really put 1,000 rounds. Plus the way it's wearing out my middle finger here, I'm not sure I want to put 1,000 rounds through it. But I definitely started to dial it in. Again, this is the first time I shot it, so we don't pull no punches. We don't come out here and practice at the range for, you know, a couple hours before we start filming. Literally the first shots you guys got to see. So we got you got to see someone who's never shot a gun, wasn't used to a gun, dial one in, and those last 2 or 3 cylinders, I was pretty much hitting dead center of the target at 12 or 13 yards, double and single action. So if you could find something to do with this, I don't know what exactly you would do, because heck, you would have to cut the entire spur off there, the tip of the hammer, in order to do anything about it. But what I started to do was just grip it lower like that, and that seemed to be okay. It did, when I done that, it did seem to get my middle finger a little bit more. But again, this is probably not a gun you're taking to the range and putting thousands or hundreds of rounds through. So if it's a truck gun, you know, maybe carry it in the pocket of your jacket or something, I definitely could see. And you know, the nice thing about a revolver as well is you can shoot out of your pocket if you had to. So I think I can recommend this gun at $199. If you never go to the range and shoot it, I definitely think that that it would serve the purpose and would be a quality piece to have in your collection. So anyway, we hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please hit the like button, like our Facebook page, subscribe to the channel, of course, tell your friends and family, and again, thanks for watching, and God bless.